Hey, what's up, everybody? Before the video starts, do me a favor and just hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning in to the KBBC Internet Takeover, and let's start the video. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. I just wanted to do a quick album review really quick. We're not going to do a full album reaction listen for this one because there's a lot of new shit that dropped, and to be honest, not all of it is something I feel like I want to do a full reaction listen through on, because I just don't have the time to do those edits take a long fucking time. The GID one that I just did took me like 2 days to get through that edit. I like doing them because they're super fucking fun, but I'm going to be more picky and choosy about what albums I do those with. But I still want to get my opinion and reaction to some of the shit that's been floating out there. So the new Lil Baby album just dropped, Street Gossip. I got a chance to listen through the whole thing today. All right, so I got mixed reactions about Lil Baby. He's definitely more of a melodic rapper, and he kind of just stays in the pocket of that auto-tune, auto-croon, and he's not quite the best at it, in my opinion. There's people that are better than him out there, but the dude has got a lot of fucking followers out there. He's getting a lot of clout. He does make some bangers. I'm not saying that he doesn't. There's just been other guys like Juice World or Trippie Redd, Young Thug, who is also on this. Recently, I did listen to the Lil Baby Gunna mixtape that just came out. And that's the other thing, man. These guys are dropping shit so fast now. I'm barely able to digest what they just put out. Like, Drip Harder just came out not even a couple months ago, I feel like. At the very tail end of the summer, early fall. I'm not getting enough time to really digest and miss these artists. It's like when you see too many Star Wars movies happening now, and you see too many Marvel movies happening now. Let there be some space in between these so that it builds that hype and that momentum. Releasing stuff too quickly, ultimately, you end up with subpar quality. And I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Street Gossip, little underwhelming. I kind of went in with low expectations. Let's just get into track by track here. Global, which was the first one. It's a slow start to this album. It's a typical like trap beat. The flow was okay. It didn't get me excited really to listen to the rest of the album, to be honest. Track number 2, Pure Cocaine, kind of shocking title, Pure Cocaine, but there's nothing really lyrically here. What I can make out through all of the overly auto-tuned at times vocals of Lil Baby is that he's just talking about cocaine and the drug life, but there's some funny wordplay in there. I was mildly entertained with it, so I gave that a 6 out of 10. Global, I gave a 5 out of 10. Crush a Lot. There's interesting tone on this song. It seemed like it was a little bit more sticky on the hook. It seemed a little bit more memorable to me than the first two. So that's kind of cool. 7 out of 10 on that one. Time featuring Meek Mill. I found this to be a little bit more on the upbeat side. Like the tempo was a little bit more upbeat. I like the piano stuff that was on there. Meek Mill, his feature, I mean, it was pretty notable over everything Lil Baby was doing, So I feel like they clash. Like, cause Meek Mill is not auto-tuned. So you got a guy who's rapping and spitting bars in auto-tune, and then it's kind of going up against the rough and rugged style, just like the straightforward more. I don't know. I just didn't feel like the collab made too much sense to me. Ready featuring Gunna, another track with Gunna. It's like, you guys just put out a collab. Obviously, you didn't get enough of each other. I feel like this could have just been a B-side off of Drip Harder. So, Metro Boomin does a good job, though, with this beat. It's a good, moody trap beat. I feel like he does a good job, usually, with creating that dark, moody. And I feel like that's what he's going for with this album overall, with Street Gossip, is that dark, moody trap beat. But I don't know. I didn't find anything that great about it. 6 out of 10. I would, to be honest, one more thing about that. I would have rather heard a 21 Savage feature. I think that would have saved the track. Word on the Street, next track. Kind of an interesting opening. Sounds like a ballroom dancing kind of music thing. I gotta give props to Baby for trying something different. A little outside the box. I mean, even that doesn't really save the track overall. The auto-tune kind of clashes with it. You got to know how to sing for auto-tune to really come into play. I feel like if you're just rapping and don't really have any vocal inflection, the auto-tune just kind of sounds like garbly nonsense. It's like I can't even understand what you're saying. 7 out of 10 on that one on Word on the Street. This week, another moody piano opening here that just drops into another typical trap song. He's talking about same genre trappings, trying to get off the streets, the trials and tribulations of trying to quit drugs. The flow from him is okay on this one, but I like the strings in the background. Adds to that moody, dark atmosphere. Next track was Anyway featuring Gucci Mane, Scooch, and 2 Chainz. This is the first of 2 features on this album from Gucci. Scooch. Yeah, 2 Chainz I haven't really heard from in a while. I mean, I might not be looking. Again, nothing really that memorable here. I found myself, I'm sorry if it looks like I'm reading, because I am. I wrote down my thoughts earlier because I'm a writer, guys, and I don't have the best memory. I smoke a lot of weed, so I have to write down things sometimes. There was nothing memorable on this track. I found it's such a typical trap banger type track. It was just kind of boring. I mean, I found myself tuning out as soon as 2 Chainz even hopped on the track, and I was tuned out so much from 2 Chainz and how boring his fucking verse was that when Gucci Scooch jumped in, I was so tuned out, I barely even registered the fact that Gucci had jumped on the track. I gave that a 5 out of 10. That was a 5 out of 10 for Anyway. Next track, No Friends, featuring Rilo Rodriguez. This is an interesting track for me. I've never really heard of Rilo Rodriguez. I've heard the name. I've never heard him before. But here's the thing. I could barely tell the difference between Rilo and Baby on this track. Like, I don't know if it's the same auto-tune pitch thing they're using or some shit, or they have the same vocal tone, but their flows were similar. The most interesting part of the track was me trying to figure out who the fuck was who. So 6 out of 10. Next track, Realist in It. It had a solid hook, and I would say that this was probably one of the better things that they did. Probably the strongest track on the record, in my opinion. There was a nice change of pace to hear Gucci Mane spitting bars for a change. And I could say the same thing about Offset. Offset comes in, spits some good fucking verse. He's got those ad-libs that, Migos are known for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see some replay value out of this. 8 out of 10 on Realist in the Game, or Realist in It. Next track, Section 8, featuring Young Thug. It had a really cool little trippy, weird opening, and Thugger comes in right away. And it seems like, again, Thugger outshines Lil Baby. So yeah, he's picking good people to have feature, and maybe he's helping a little bit with the production of getting, it is his track. This felt like a Young Thug track. This did not feel like a Lil Baby track. Good song though. Only problem was I couldn't really understand what Young Thug was talking about because he's got extra auto-tune on his shit. So like, it seemed like he was talking about Section 8 getting out of the hood. Section 8 into a condo. Next track was Chastised. It had an acoustic guitar opening. It's a short track, only like 2 minutes and change, and it was pretty cool that they kept that through line in the background. You hear the acoustic guitar going down. I'm sorry if I'm talking fast, guys. I'm losing light out here. But yeah, 7 out of 10 on that one. But then finally, Dreams to Reality featuring No Cap. This is another one that I really dug a lot. I never heard of No Cap before. Why is there features on here if this dude sounds almost just like you? Find somebody that sounds different. Other than that, I actually thought this was a pretty cool track. I was digging the moody vibe, digging the dark way to end this album. I like dark endings. I like dark endings in movies, like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. I like my albums to end that way too sometimes. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. But I feel like I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 just because I feel like I'm only giving it an 8 out of 10 because it's better than the sea of mediocrity that I heard through the rest of this album. You have 2 tracks on here that I'm giving 8 out of 10s, mostly because of the features probably on it. Anyway, so that was Street Gossip by Lil Baby. Nothing to write home about. If I had to give it an overall, it looks like I've gotten I'm going to give this thing a 6 out of 10. I can't really give it much more than that. It just feels another cash grab. It's just all it feels like. It feels like people might argue me on that, but you just put out a collab a couple of months ago, and I get it. Like, we live in a day and age where music needs to be put out faster because it's all about getting those streams. But it feels like a lot of these rappers are just losing the quality and not taking the time to really sit down and come up with a good concept for an album. And I understand this one looks like he's trying to be a little bit more dark and moody on it.
We've heard all that. I want something new. So 6 out of 10 for street gossip. What'd you guys think about it? Comment below. Let me know. It's getting dark. I got to get out of this park before the cops come and find me.